This is the Kingston 24-piece precision toolkit. It was provided by the manufacturer for me to review it. I may receive some compensation in exchange for this review. Just thought I would tell you that. But I do want to give you my very honest, unbiased impression about this toolkit. Now you can find all the details and the purchase link down in the video description if you need to get to that. But let's start by unboxing this and take a look at what's inside. Now, the first thing I noticed earlier when I took a peek in here is that they've actually got a retail package on the inside, so you can take this out of the box. I want to call it a retail because you can basically take this out, flip this over, and hang it up. Now, I think if you were in a store and you were selling it, you would most likely want to hang it up by the package. So maybe this can just hang up on a hook on your tool bench. That works. Over here we have a magnetic flap that will open up. So if you just pull this aside, it will pop the entire case open. And when you close this up, this little flap just clips into place there and keeps it closed nice and snug. And we have telecommunication tools. What do we have on the inside, and what is the biggest challenge about buying a toolkit? Because most people ask me, what toolkit should I get that will have all the tools that I need? And that's often a difficult question to answer because most toolkits are missing at least a couple screwdrivers. It might be something unusual like the Torx security bit for the PlayStation, or more recently, it will be this. And this is the Y-shaped driver for the iPhone 7 and the Apple Watch. So you can actually use this to get to the internal screws on your iPhone 7. So that's nice that they have included this in the box, and it's actually its own separate driver, so you won't mix it up with any of the other bits. That's actually a good idea. Quite a few people make that mistake. Here we have our Pentalobe driver. So these two would be your drivers for accessing the iPhone series. You got your Pentalobe here, you've got your Trilobe or Y or whatever shape you'd like to call that, and that will allow you to get to the iPhone 7, which is great because it's a very late model phone. Now they also include a plastic spudger. This is the hardened type plastic, so it doesn't fall apart as easy. If you've looked at, let me grab one of my spudgers. Typically, if you have this type or one of these, over time this plastic tends to get chewed up, and that is because it's relatively lightweight. So if you want to buy the premium type, they do make a heavier plastic, and that's what this one is made out of. So it's a lot more rigid, it'll last you longer, but of course, if and when that thing gets chipped, you do not want to use it to disconnect any cables on the inside of the phone because that can be very dangerous. We also have a metal spudger inside, and this one is not particularly heavyweight. I showed it to another technician recently, and the one thing that he pointed out is it's not particularly thin on the edge. So when it comes to prying under panels, you might not have the same low profile that you would get from a razor blade or an ISSM or something like that. But overall, it looks like it would probably do the job. And of course, it's nice to have a plastic handle on there. Now they do include a pair of tweezers, and these look like they are about, I'm going to say average on the precision scale. So these will work on the inside of a phone for unplugging things and picking up small pieces, but obviously this would not be the precision that you would be looking for if you're doing a micro soldering project. But of course, if you're doing that, you're looking at a whole different set of tools in most cases. Now, this is probably my favorite part about this kit. They have built a ratchet onto the end of the driver. We've got 3 settings on this ratchetable handle here. There's one in the center, one to the right, and one to the left. So if I go to the left, I can now tighten just like a regular ratchet. And of course, if I flip this over to the other side, I can loosen my screws and save myself the time of actually picking, changing my position on the handle and spinning it around like this. You just use the ratchet, and it allows you easily to make many turns without having to reposition your fingers on the handle. That I think is really cool. It's probably one of the first phone repair kits I can think of that has that type of feature built into it. So that is really cool. Now when it gets to the inside here, there's a little plastic lever, and you can see they've kind of outlined what bits you get on the inside. And take a look at this. So we have our again, we have a 0.8. So not only do you have a separate Pentalobe driver, but you've actually got a Pentalobe bit, a 1.2 in case you happen to be working on MacBooks. We've got our regular, I shouldn't say regular, that's a bad term, but our Phillips bits here, 1.0, 1.2, 1.5, 2.0. We have a 3. We've got a couple of flatheads, 1.5, 2.0. We have a 2.0 tri-wing or tri-point rather. And then over here we have a 0.8 something else, which is obviously not a pentalobe, so we'll have to get back to that and see what that is exactly. Down here you've got your triangle, and look at this, we've got a standoff bit inside of this kit. So the screwdriver that is usually not so easy to find, so something like this, which is designed specifically for those logic board screws. Let's see if we can kind of get this thing to focus here so you can see it better. It's got a point right in the center, and usually you have to buy a separate driver to make that happen. Well, with this kit, they've actually included that inside of the set here. So we have a standoff driver right down here, and if you just pull on this little lever, it kind of pops these things up, and you can probably see from there, and when I get close to the camera, we'll have to refocus again, but it has that pointed tip, and these are designed specifically for the standoff screws. So we just pop that in here. We can set our ratchet to whichever direction we like, and it will make it quick and easy to remove those screws using this bit. Now these kind of lock into place when you put them inside, but it's held mainly by a magnet. So there's not a true locking mechanism, but the magnet should be sufficient to hold these bits inside of the driver. Now beyond that, we've got our standoff, which we just took a look at. And how do we get this thing to go back down? I guess you've got to, I guess I'm pulling it the wrong direction. We've got a T3, T4, T5, and T6. So you can work on Motorola phones with this. And that's another very rare bit to come across. A lot of times when we look at toolkits, the one thing that they do is they start at about a T4 and they go up. So with this one, you've got the Torx bits from T3 up to T6. You've got your standoff. You have all your other standard drivers, and you have the tri-lobe driver for the iPhone 7. So overall, I would give this an above average score as far as quality goes. These are CRV bits, so they should last for a long time. This is going to be something where if you want to get everything in one package, it will do the job. And really for the price, it is, in my opinion, a good value, especially just because of this ratcheting driver here, which is really cool for spinning the screws around and saving yourself a lot of time. I almost forgot to mention they also include a blue plastic triangle. This is one of my more commonly used pry tools. So I will put any additional information I come up with and any questions that you might have about this set, I will answer them down in the video description, including probably one of the first ones that I got from one of my viewers, and that is, what is the warranty period on these bits? Because that is a question that comes up quite often when we're looking at cell phone tools. Now, if you're careful with your tools, you won't generally have any problems with them falling apart or breaking. But if you're really rough on your stuff, you want to know, how long is this thing going to last if I treat it, if I use and abuse it? And the manufacturer will provide some sort of warranty. Again, I will put that information down in the bottom. That's it. This is the Kingston 24-piece precision kit. And really, I think for the price, quite a good value, nice tool to have. And this ratcheting driver, something that I would love to see more manufacturers do with their screwdrivers. If you found the video helpful, like it, share it, check out my channel for more tutorials and product reviews, and most of all, remember to hit the subscribe button. Feel free to leave your feedback in the comments section, and thanks for watching.